What is going on? Welcome back to another Speed Lab Live. It's been a while for us, but we're back. Track season is busy, um, and so I've been busy. But if you're new here, we just explore people's film. We do frame by frame coaching. That's what we're going to get into today. I know that it is a weekday. I just got off the track, so one of the common themes that I've been seeing during this period is how do you accelerate, how do you maintain top speed, and how do you remain tall with your hips striking under you. That's one of the things that we're going to discuss today. So if you're interested in having your film reviewed, this is where you can go. Today we're going to look at Sion. Sorry if I'm saying your name wrong, but he says, these are clips of me running and comparisons of my good and bad strides. These clips show my bad strides and my running technique overall. So what he's wants to know is why sometimes his strides are good and sometimes they're bad. He's actually fairly tall, and so that's an awesome thing for him. He's 16, 6'4", 80 keys. So we're gonna watch his film and see. He's got some big races coming up, right? With the end of his season being in August. He has a race coming up in 5 days. He wants to know what he can improve in his form to help him in 5 days. And then also, what does he need to improve to help him in the long term? My issue is one stride is always bad and the other is good. So let's see if I had to guess, anytime this happens, you're usually reaching, or I saw a little bit of his film before I showed up here today, and it looks really good. So let's see what kind of base we can build off of. I've struggled with adductor issues, but I've been cleared by my physiotherapist. Good. These are the kind of sessions I had along with sprinting sessions. So squats, backside to bench, push-ups, press-ups, lunges, dips, clean press, chest press, Bulgarian squat, reverse flies, kettlebells, dumbbell snatch. Good. This is great. I also want to know what kind of sprinting sessions you've been doing. I think that's more of the question for me. But let's go ahead. Let's watch some of Sion's film here. So we can provide some frame by frame coaching. Oh, is this the relay? I don't want to watch the relay. I don't really care about watching the relay, to be honest. Yeah, no, we're not going to watch that. But we'll watch this one. So let's see what we can see. I think that's Sion in the middle of the track there. But we'll watch it all the way through one time, and then I can give my commentary after that. Yeah. So let's go back here and see what we saw. So this is who we're looking at. Sorry for the fuzziness of the film, but that's what we're looking for. Automatically, I can see that block start and drive phase needs work. Getting yourself in the correct position, Sion, will help you end up in the correct position as you go further down the track. So getting your start right is going to be very helpful, especially with your height. It's a bit more challenging, but it will pay off more at the end for you than for other people if you learn how to stay tall, and grow through the acceleration zone and remain tall and figure out how to keep your stride length and frequency as the race continues. Okay, gun goes off. Not a horrible reaction, but you're standing straight up in your. Let's count the steps. 1, 2, 3 steps. I'll give you the benefit. I'll give you 4 steps. So on 4 steps, you're already standing straight up. That's a problem. So this is who we're looking for. Um, so I know this is the end of the race, but look at this knee. Right now, that's kind of the way that it swings through. You're not actually stepping through and stepping over. Um, right, compared to your competitor. Look at how this knee swings through. Okay. Boom. It makes him. He really pushes off the leg. This leg swings through. He spends some time in the air before he lands to the next foot. Now watch you, Sion. You can gain so much more distance because you're so much taller than your competitors, but I don't see that. I don't see you taking advantage of that right now. I think one of the things that I also see is how flat you are when you hit the ground. Um, right. So we got cut off here from during the acceleration phase. We kind of only got this top end speed maintenance phase. And this is a problem for me. Okay, that's a problem, Sion. That's a flat foot and collapsed. Look at your knee collapsed here as well. So what this means for me is that you don't have enough strength, or at least applied strength. So when I went over your comment and you gave me all of your weight routine and I said I needed to see your sprint routine, this is why, because you're missing something big inside of your sprint routine where you're hitting the ground very flat and not tall, right? Look at your hips behind your center of mass. That's a problem. That means you're not using all of your length. You're not using all of your power. Let's see what else you got. Yeah. Totally sitting back. So now we get a chance to see what you're like after the drive phase when you go to accelerate to max speed. Now let's see if you do make the same mistake here and pop up out of the blocks on your 4th or 3rd step. I think you are. You may have made it a little further, but you're popping up now. And you might be 10 meters down the track, maybe. Then here, the form looks nice, you just aren't going anywhere. You're not covering distance. Um, I don't think your arms are doing very much for you in terms of helping you sprint forward. You also don't look like you grew through the acceleration zone. You look kind of small. You look kind of squished, but you're a tall guy. I need you to lift and grow and accelerate like much like Usain Bolt used to do, right? I think you two are the same height. Um, so you're just kind of scooting down the track instead of sprinting. When you learn how to sprint, you're going to be a hell of a runner. Yeah. I can't see your foot, but I'd imagine that you're hitting the ground very close to there. But look at where your hips are, right? They're way back here. I need them much closer to being up here. And that only will come when you learn how to stand up tall and sprint. So, that means doing plyometrics, doing stuff like skips, bounds, lunges, hurdle hops, those kind of things on top of the weight routine. I know that the weight room is great, but it clearly isn't translating into making you a strong sprinter. So we got a little bit more film here from Sion. Oh, this might be kind of the best view. Yeah. So I'm looking totally at your hips sitting back behind you, right? That one's a little bit better. You see how you step down on top of the track? That one's okay too, I guess. But I mean, there's when you stand up to sprint because you're 6'4", there should not be anyone that's able to keep up with you if you have a great balance of stride length and stride frequency. But what's happening is you've gotten into bad habits of not having. Let's actually look. Right, your frequency is actually decent, so that's a great sign for you because once you learn how to actually utilize your strength and your length, you're about to destroy it. Sled pulls are going to be big for you, and not like 1080 sprint like the ones that are only 0 to 30 meters. You need to be doing sled pulls for like 120. That's going to turn you into a beast. Okay, you just look weak in your hips. Doesn't look like much power is coming from there. But that can be trained. It takes time, but that can be trained. Right? Sion asked me what time I think he can run this year. And he runs currently 11.5. If you clean some of this up by August, what month is it? April. I mean, I maybe 11.2, being realistic here. But if you spent like a whole summer working on gaining power out of your hips and gaining distance um, per stride, right? You're really cutting this short. I think you're cutting it short to help your stride frequency. Okay. You have this balance of frequency and length. And so as you're running the 100 or the 60, right, you drive, this is going to be a lot of power, but you need to work on your drive phase. And then you transition to upright speed. Now, the key here is to grow tall. So as you work from your transition to reaching, right, max speed here, you want to grow through this motion. So Sion, you're going to be 6'4". As you move down the track here, you're going to keep growing. I want you to be 6'5". I want you to get off of those flat feet. That's why the flat foot landing is a problem. You need to be stiff on impact. You're going to grow over here, and then you maintain. Now, this is where, how do you spell maintenance? I'll just say maintain. Right? Everyone's pretty much even here at the elite level. This is where you see big changes, right? When we're talking about like Usain Bolt, he really pulled away here. And then after this part, there's no catching him, because from here you want to stay tall again, right? Staying tall is going to keep your stride length long. But what you want to do is, what color do I want to use? You want to bring the frequency. So this equation, stride length and times stride frequency. In the beginning, when you go to transition to max speed, the length is going to be, you're going to favor length over frequency. That doesn't mean you have slow frequency. It just means you favor length over frequency. And then when you go to maintain, right, as long as you're remembering to stay tall, because remember, we grew through from transition to max speed, we were growing through the zone. So when you get to the end of the race and you stay tall, you actually want to put more emphasis on frequency. Okay, my coach used to say, beat the drums. You want to be like a drummer boy or girl. Okay, what does that mean? That means at the end of the race, at the last 20 of the 100 or the last 50 of the 2 or the last 70 of the 4, you want to remain tall and be a drummer boy. So, right, I want to think about my frequency picking up while I remain tall. I don't want to remain long. I don't want to put more emphasis on length here at the end, because when I do that, that's when I get long and slow at the end. So, right, you need to remain tall and focus on frequency. But again, how do you do that? Well, remaining tall, this is going to be about strength training, specifically your hips, and not even strength training, right? It's like a functional strength. And then frequency will be speed training, over speed drills, if you know how to do over speed. Again, beat the drums. So you could run downhill, or you can pedal on your bike really fast, or you could have a overspeed belt. These are all ways to train overspeed, or you can do a fun drill that is in Speed Lab. I can show you how to do that drill. Okay, because these, you're cutting it a little short. And honestly, you're just not strong enough. You're going to gain so much more distance when you learn how to have functional strength while you sprint. I think this is one more from Sion, and then we'll move on because we have more people to cover. Oh, are these wickets? Yeah. Yeah, you're trying to be so fast. Right? You have natural length just because of your height, but you're putting so much emphasis right? You probably feel that you're tall. I mean, you know you're tall, right? So you understand that you have to have better frequency, because if you focus too much on length, you're going to get left behind as well. But right now, you're having way too much emphasis on here, and you need to shift some of your emphasis here on length and power. Um, you know, I hesitate to say this because it should only be done with a great coach who knows what they're doing, but like weighted vest runs, I think can be awesome for you, right? You have that weighted vest teaches you how to get up off the ground, and then you have sleds which teach you how to go forward on the ground. You need both of those things, and you need a bunch of plyometrics too. That's going to really help you. They got to be smart about it though, because you are tall, so the effects of gravity are harder on you than a normal person, than a regular sized person, right? And you got to learn how to drive. The drive is horrible. So Sion, I hope you see this. If you see this, DM me because we have a lot to talk about. Start with the block start checklist, then move on to the drive phase, don't get left behind series that I have on school. And let's teach you how to be powerful and open with your stride. I see what you mean by your strides feel weird. It's because you're trying to cycle way too fast. You're putting way too much emphasis on turnover at the wrong points in the race. You need to learn how to push and accelerate through the acceleration zone, and then focus on turnover at the end of the race. That's my advice for you. And we will move on because we have someone else to get to, whose name is, let's go, Casey. Hello, Casey. I haven't achieved triple extension yet, and I don't have low heel recovery either. This girl needs help. Don't worry about it, Casey. We got you. So Casey was kind enough to share their film. Let's watch. We got to get our frame by frame going, though. Can't just be out here watching regular film. Come on, man. Come on, man. Frame by frame, dude. All right. Casey, this is Casey. Casey's a master's athlete, I believe, runs the 100 and does long jump. I look forward to working with you on some long jump stuff, Casey. I really love long and triple. Can't wait to learn the high jump and hurdles as well. But okay, so this is Casey's start. Let's see if we get help with the blocks. I shared my block start checklist with Casey. They haven't gotten back to me yet. So whenever they get a chance to implement that, I would love to hear how it went for you. Oh, okay. I was about to say, I can't see the blocks. Okay, so automatically, Casey, you're sitting back on your heels. Look at, let's see if I could do this. I'm not known to. Okay, so look at how you are sitting back on the blocks there, right? You're at a 22-degree angle, and I need you to be at a close to 90-degree angle, right? That goes over there. That goes over here. Oh, no. There we go. Okay, I need you to be at a 90-degree angle. And what I'm looking at in particular right now are your hips. Okay. So your hips are in the wrong place. You have a 22-degree angle here. You have a 90-degree angle here. So I need your hips to shift forward and cover that distance. Now, this is going to place some extra pressure on your hands, Casey, unfortunately. But it's something that you got to get used to, because that's how you're supposed to do blocks. Okay. So again, I said 22, but you're at 48. 48 degrees, and I need you way closer to this 90 degrees. Your hips need to shift forward. So if you check out the block start checklist that I provided to you, it'll help you shift those hips forward. You'll be able to create much better power out of the blocks and keep your drive phase and keep your low heel recovery. Okay. So let's see here again. This actually isn't bad position. You got back heel against that pedal, front heel against that pedal. I like that. Let's check our angles just for fun, for funsies. Okay. Little 90 degree on that front leg. That's great. We'll go, oops. Let's see. About 112 on that back leg. Okay. Not bad. Shoulders over hands. I like that. Let's see what your first couple steps look like here. Okay. So you rock back. All right. That's the first thing you do. So you can get rid of that if your hips were in the correct position on set. We're going to go ahead and we'll just put this here and watch yourself move back from that position. Okay, no bueno. We need to get rid of that movement. Okay, not bad. What are you talking about? You don't have triple extension. Look at that. I'm a fan. Okay, but then this is where the problems happen. I already talked to Casey a little bit. One thing I can say that will help you, Casey, is if this foot is actually back here a little bit. So what you actually want to do is this hammy needs to fire, right? And when that once you get extended, right? Boom, boom, hammy fires, and it will snap that foot back underneath you and help you hit the track in a bit better position. Although you do a great job driving down, I just think you could have a bit better position on that first step if you fire that foot back. It was a little bit wide for me. Okay. And so this is what you mean by low heel recovery. This foot is coming straight here to cut that leg off as opposed to swinging through here to cut the ankle off. Now this just takes time. It takes reps. It takes practice. So I shared with Casey the Don't Get Left Behind drive phase series that I have on School. I hope it helps. They're just drills, so they're not going to, automatically fix everything. It just takes a lot of reps here. But so Case, the reason the dry phase is hard for you is because this foot comes through like it does. And once that foot cycles through this way, you're basically done with your dry phase. You don't have much choice but to stand up after that. And that's pretty much what happens. I know you're trying to maintain a good position here in the dry phase, but your drive is pretty much over because now this foot is going to come through in a similar fashion. Okay. And the low heel recovery, if you watch film, it's only like 3 or 4 steps, 5 steps. It set people up for down the track. What we should be concerned with is not that you are in first place right here, but that you are in a good position down the track, right? I'd much prefer you in a good position over here. And even though you're not in first place, then a bad position as you are now, but be quicker out of the blocks, if that makes sense. This sets up the whole rest of the race. This area right here, being in a good position, having that hamstring firing back down, really sets up a chain of events so that as you progress down the track, everything happens much easier. Yeah. And now you're just not getting much power because you kind of popped up, and then you have to actually turn around, like not turn around, but you have to reaccelerate because the drive phase acceleration was cut short. But then what's going to happen is that because you're working more towards max speed acceleration, and you're only here on the track, what is that, 5 meters, 3 meters? Your max speed is going to come way sooner in the race. And that won't be good because you're going to have a much longer maintenance phase, which means other people are going to catch you. Oh, one other thing I told Casey. Okay. You are kind of leaving your hips back a little bit as well. So wondering if you need hip thrust in the gym or band work to get your glutes firing a bit better, or sled pulls or sled pushes, even try to get those hips a little bit forward. Okay, I distracted myself. This is great. Look at those arms. I'm a fan. Now watch this. Oh, look at that. Look at how close this elbow is to your body. Okay. And by comparison, let's back you up here. Okay, this is just by comparison. Look at this elbow and the distance it has to the body. Okay, so and watch, it doesn't get much better there for Casey. Actually, this side is a bit better. This step, I wonder if your right leg feels a bit better pushing off the ground than your left leg, Casey. Let me know if that's true. Because if we fast forward here, oh, the arms get a little bit better. Okay, so, oh, but then they mess up again. Okay, so not as bad as I thought, Case. Just again, I think a few things happened here. I think because of this step and not firing the hammy to pull that foot back underneath you, that's kind of a dead step there as it hits the track. See the collapse in the ankle, bing. And then if you had big arms like you did the rest of your drive, then it would feel weird. So you have to shorten your arms up to kind of catch yourself, because you're catching yourself out of that first step instead of pushing again to reaccelerate. And so now you have to get back into your acceleration, and then your arms come back into play. So that step really killed you there. I know this is one of many. And I see you trying to do the low heel recovery because you know it's what you're supposed to do, but it's kind of already dead from there. So I hope what is it called? What did I call it? I hope my dry phase series can help you with that. I'm excited to see what you think about it. What you have to say. Also, when you get a chance, if you see this, share your long jump film with me. Love to review that. All right, one more. Uno más. Who's next? Who is that? Oh, D'Angelo Feliz. Sorry, man. Say your name wrong. Thoughts on what to improve for the 100 and 200. I'm red jersey and bright green spikes. Lane 5 for the 100, lane 6 for the 200. 12:26, not a horrible time. 25:56. 12:26. I think your 200 is a little bit slow. It should be probably 24 mid. I think you're about a second off of your 200. So this lets me know that your training is not quite where it needs to be. So whatever program you're doing, yes, this is essentially my first year sprinting. I said, my initial thoughts are that you look like you have decent turnover, which means Once you figure out how to sprint and you sprint, you can get much faster. One thing I see is that you're running collapse or small. You need to work on running tall and being stiff when you hit the track. Again, a common theme, not understanding that balance of stride length and stride frequency. Let's watch. D'Angelo, right? What was his name? D'Angelo. That's right. D'Angelo Feliz. 12:26 and 25:56. Yeah, I don't have much faith that your training program is what you need it to be. But let's just watch. I have many athletes who are honestly, they're just 100-meter runners. They're much better. They're like my football guys, they excel in the 100, maybe not so much in the 200, but so let's see. I actually don't know what your training is like, but that's just a guess. Okay, so this is D'Angelo. Boom. Bam, 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 bam. Red jersey, green spikes. I like the combo. I'm not going to lie. Okay, let's see the start. Where are we at? What are we doing? Oh my goodness. Look at this guy in the green. No hands. He's flying out of the blocks. No arms necessary. Look at that. Watch this. See it? Bow. He tried to fly. Both arms go behind him. Okay, so that's wrong. You'll never see any athlete do that, right? There's not many like wrong things. There's a lot of like nuance behind how you train and blah blah blah, and that's wrong because of this and that. It's like, bro, there's so many ways to get fast. This is wrong. Okay. Sorry, random high school athlete, if you see this. I'm not trying to drag you. Just I'm actually here to help you if you're ever interested. Okay, so remember we're back here with D'Angelo. I don't see a full extension off of those blocks. I think those can be a bit better, but that's fine. You actually don't get bad extension off that second step. Arms are decent. Once again, it looks like people favor certain sides, right? I know people do, right? But it's quite obvious. And so D'Angelo's new, doesn't have enough reps. So there is a side that looks better than the other side. When once you get experience, I don't think that's so much the case. You look very tight, intense. Shoulders really high up. You got to relax those shoulders. And I bet you that's why it's difficult for you to stand up and sprint when it's time to go. I think you just look very tight. Now, this is normal for someone who's new. Let's see if I can use this. Right. Look at the shoulders kind of raised up. Anytime my shoulders are doing that, I'm going to be tight as I run, and being tight is not a good thing in terms of, it's not a good thing for your stride length, and nor is it a good thing for your stride frequency. So that's one thing. That comes with reps. That comes with proper training. Again, I think it goes back to what kind of training you're doing. I don't believe that you're doing the necessary training, but again, I could be wrong. Arms need to swing through the hips much more aggressively than they are. Okay. You have some easy wins here, D'Angelo. Let me watch this. Yeah. You're shortchanging yourself a lot. You have some easy wins. You got to relax your shoulders. Don't bring them up to your ears like this, right? Swing your hands through your hips. Shoulders should be relaxed, and they should be, as Stuart McMillan from Altus says, undulating. right? That means they should be doing this when I swing my arms. They should be rocking with me or rotating. I don't want to see a visible weak core, but your body is not going to be in a straight line. It needs torque to create force. So that's what I see from you. It also makes sense why you're 200, why you struggle in your 200 is because you're so tight when you sprint. Let's watch and see if that's true. Okay. There's D'Angelo. Let's see what we got. 200. And it won't let me clear the thing that's on the screen, even though there's clearly something on the screen. Okay. Good start. Catch the lane outside of you. You got someone, maybe a teammate inside of you. Yeah, the arms need a lot of work. Is there anyone in your race who's doing it right? Correct. So the guy that's catching you on the outside here, he's much more forceful and better with his arms, which is why he catches you towards the end. Your arms need a lot of work in terms of how to swing them. So arm swings are going to be a great exercise for you. Swinging them through your hips is going to help your stride. It's going to help you relax. It's going to help you gain distance down the track. It's going to help a lot of aspects of your sprinting. Oh, it looks like you won. Okay, you're taking little choppy steps. Swinging your arms correctly is going to help eliminate that as well. Okay, I believe that's all. Let's check Speed Lab. Okay, if you're interested in getting your film reviewed or just joining a great community, right? How to run faster in just 30 days, new PB in the 100, 60-meter dash, technique, all these things. Come join the Speed Lab. It's a great place to be, great place to learn how to run faster, and even a better place to be surrounded by people that are achieving big things. So that's it. I'll see you next time. Peace. Thanks.